When he discovers that the future of 2 planets is under threat, an alien decides to come to Earth with the mission of ensuring that a talented boy realizes his greatest dream. Today we're going to recap the story of the movie, Mozart from Space, from 2022. Ren Xiaoshan is an extremely talented 13-year-old pianist, but his father is never satisfied with the boy's performance and always demands that he practice his skills even more. Xiaoshan will soon be taking part in a competition, so Wang doesn't allow the boy to take a break, not even to go to the toilet. The man dreamed of being a music star, but his dream never came true, so he transferred this goal to his son. Even though Xiaoshan never dreamed of becoming a great pianist, he needs to improve himself to live up to his father's expectations. However, when he discovers that the teenager's dream is to become an astronomer, Wang becomes furious and tears up the magazine that the boy was hiding behind the sheet music. During class, Xiaoshan looks up at the sky and imagines what it would be like to travel through the stars. Noticing that the boy isn't paying attention in class, Mr. Deng scolds him. When he tries to clean up after his friend, Shihao also ends up being punished and discovers that defying his teacher is a bad idea. During the break, Paul Yang, the president of the astronomy club, gives a speech in front of all the students at the school and announces the opening of registration for the club. One of Xiaoshan's greatest certainties is that there are other forms of life scattered throughout the universe, so he wants to join the astronomy club so that he can explore other planets. However, when he discovers the boy's real intentions, Paul forbids him to join the group and decides to give the opportunity to other students who don't have the slightest interest in the subject. While walking through the school, the 2 friends are surrounded by Yuan and his colleagues. The delinquent then orders Xiaoshan to prove that there is life outside Earth, otherwise he will be punched. Knowing that there is no concrete proof that extraterrestrial beings exist, the boy needs to find a distraction to escape and throws a ball at Professor Seng to incriminate Yuan. The 2 friends then run away, but end up being chased by the bully and have to separate. To hide, Xiaoshan decides to infiltrate Miss Lu's class, where Momo, his half-brother, studies. At the end of the lesson, he meets the boy's mother and Yusha invites her eldest son to dinner. Just then, Wang appears and takes the boy home after interrupting the conversation. His ex-wife left him when Xiaoshan was still a child and the man never forgave her for building another family. During dinner, father and son have an argument because Wang wants the boy to play the piano every night and Xiaoshan can't stand to see the instrument in front of him. Furious, the boy goes to his room and, after drawing horns on his father's picture, he starts practicing. Just then, a shooting star came through his window and Xiaoshan realized that the stuffed panda on his bed had disappeared. Suddenly, the bear appears right in front of him and the teenager attacks it. When his father appears in the room, the boy claims that the toy was moving and Wang attacks him. After stomping on the teddy bear and punching it several times, the man orders Xiaoshan to go back to practicing, because he believes that the young man is just making up an excuse to escape from his task. However, when Xiaoshan leaves the room, the bear starts moving again and the boy tries to hit it with a baseball bat. Luckily, the creature is extremely agile and manages to escape. The creature then runs over to the piano and starts playing. It doesn't take long before its melody spreads around the room and causes all the objects around it to start floating. After watching that beautiful performance, Xiaoshan realizes that the panda isn't as dangerous as he thought and decides to approach him. During a brief conversation, the boy discovers that the alien that has invaded the teddy bear's body belongs to planet Alpha 18 and is thrilled to know that he has finally had the chance to meet an alien. As Mozart's body is made purely of energy, he needs to invade an inanimate being in order to materialize, so Xiaoshan can't see his true form. As well as being able to play the piano wonderfully well and speak any language, the alien also possesses the ability of telekinesis, which allows him to make any object levitate. Thanks to this power, Mozart manages to create a bridge with Xiaoshan's books that leads out of the boy's room. After walking to the other side of the window, the boy grasps the tentacle that comes out of the top of the bear's head and, at that moment, the bridge of books collapses. They are both falling when the alien manages to break free and saves Xiaoshan seconds before he hits the ground. After scolding the boy and asking him never to touch his tentacle again, Mozart takes him back to his room and Xiaoshan goes to sleep. During the night, the creature analyzes its progress and begins phase 1 of its plan, which will need to be completed within the next 2 months. In the morning, Xiaoshan searches the entire room for the alien and, when he finds him, he realizes that he is wearing his favorite watch. The boy then reveals that he has to go to school and asks the bear to stay hidden until he returns home. However, instead of following the boy's lead, Mozart insists on accompanying him, so Xiaoshan has no choice but to take him to school. During the lesson, he hides the bear under the desk, but Mozart keeps trying to get out, as he hates being in tight places. Noticing the movement, Shihao soon suspects that his friend is hiding something and, during recess, decides to confront him. When he realizes that the boy won't give up until he finds out the truth, Shaan decides to show him the panda, but Mozart remains motionless, pretending to be a normal teddy bear. Furious, Shihao starts shouting at his friend, because he feels that he is insulting his intelligence when he says that there is an alien living inside that toy. Determined to defend Shaoshan's honor, Mozart stands up and Shihao looks on approvingly as he sees that creature speak. At this point, the boy reveals that the alien is an excellent pianist, so he has decided to call him Mozart. Suddenly, Yuan shows up to make amends with Shaoshan, but when he sees his friend being bullied by the brute, the panda decides to act and uses his powers to spin Yuan's body at high speed. When it finally stops spinning, the delinquent is dressed as a girl and runs quickly to change before anyone sees him. That afternoon, the two friends take part in a soccer match. Their team will be playing against Paul's team and everything indicates that they will suffer a major defeat. However, with Mozart's help, Shihao does the impossible and all his shots miraculously score points for his team, which wins the match. At the end of PE class, Shaoshan is walking through the corridors of the school building when he spots Jing in the garden and his heart races. He has always been in love with her, but has never had the courage to expose his feelings. However, when he sees Paul handing Jing a bouquet of flowers, he gets jealous and asks the teddy bear to help him embarrass him. After having his wig ripped off his head, Paul ends up falling over and his pants rip. Seeing Jing laughing at the situation, the young man leaves in shame and the trio hides so that the young woman doesn't see them. However, their plan doesn't work out as expected, as Jing starts chasing them around the school and soon discovers that Shaoshan's teddy bear has superpowers. Determined to investigate the existence of extraterrestrials, Yuan joins an association that studies life forms from other planets. This group is led by a woman who claims to be an intergalactic ruler who has arrived on the planet to lead the Earth into a new era. That afternoon, the three students ask Mozart to help them climb to the top of the school's water tank, because they want to know what the view is like from up there. To fulfill this request, the bear creates a staircase of floating stones around the tower and, thanks to it, the young people can contemplate the beauty of the city at sunset. That evening, when Wang gets home, he hears his son playing the piano and opens his bedroom window to congratulate him. Just then, the man spots the teddy bear sitting next to the boy and has no idea that it is the toy that is playing the instrument while Shaoshan watches astronomy videos. During the night, Mozart once again contacts the other aliens on his planet to inform them that the mission is progressing. His real goal is to help Shaoshan become an astronomer, as this will directly affect the future of the planet. The alien knows that the only thing stopping the boy from fulfilling his dream is his father's pressure for him to become a pianist. So he decides to eliminate Wang. That weekend, Shaoshan accompanies his father to a retirement home where his grandfather lives. The trio then drive to the family's country house and, when they get there, Mozart begins to implement his strategies to get Shaoshan eliminated. The problem is that every time he gets close to it, the man finds a way to get out of the trap created by the bear without even realizing that the toy is trying to eliminate him. However, the alien doesn't give up and, when he sees his target standing in the kitchen, he tries to stab him in the back. Luckily, Shaoshan appears and manages to grab the knife before the teddy bear can eliminate his father. The boy then ties the alien up in the bathroom and decides to interrogate him to find out why he attacked him. When questioned, Mozart says he was trying to protect the boy, but Shaoshan threatens him and forbids the alien to do anything like that again. On Monday, Yuan's father goes to school because his son didn't come home that weekend. After questioning some students, Deng discovers that the boy is attending the meetings of a group called the Galactic Alliance University. When he hears this, Mr. Ma feels guilty, because when his son was 4 years old, his mother perished in a car accident. Instead of telling Yuan the truth, the man told him that his mother had gone to live on another planet and, since then, the boy has been obsessed with finding her. Despite not being Yuan's friend, Shaoshan feels sorry for the boy and asks Shihao and Jing to help him find him. The young man is convinced that his mother is coming to take him to live with her on another planet, so it won't be easy to convince him to come down. The only way to do this is through Mozart, who uses his powers to fly to meet Yuan and claims that his mother is on an important mission. The alien says that as soon as her mission is over, the woman will return to find her son and manages to convince Yuan to come down from the antenna. At this point, the boy ends up slipping, but during the fall, Mozart manages to save him and brings him safely to the ground. What the teddy bear and his friends didn't realize was that they were being filmed by 2 other members of the Galactic Alliance University, which intends to use the video as proof of the existence of extraterrestrial creatures. Just then, Yuan's father appears and is extremely relieved to find out that his son is okay. After filming, the two members of the association run to show the images to Shaan, and the woman orders them to capture the creature. In the morning, Shaan receives a visit from his music teacher and has to make do with playing by himself, because this time Mozart can't help him. However, as he hasn't trained all week, the boy's results are much lower than expected and his teacher decides to leave. Frustrated, Yuan asks what happened to the boy and Shaan decides to confront him once and for all. The young man says he won't become a musician, even though his father forces him to play the piano every day. When he realizes that this is definitely not his son's dream, Yuan decides to make a deal with him and promises that if Shaan qualifies for the finals of the music championship he's taking part in, the boy will never have to play the piano again. To help him achieve this goal, Mozart wakes the boy up at 5 a.m. and takes him to the train station. While Shaoshan's eyes are closed, the panda throws an orange ball into his mouth. After that, the boy's hearing becomes extremely sharp and he is able to hear sounds from miles away. Excited to explore his new ability, Shaan walks through the city while paying attention to the sounds around him. When he returns home and starts rehearsing, the young man realizes the beauty of the music he produces on the piano and his talent becomes more and more acute. Seeing the boy play on stage, the Yuan Cup judges are impressed, as it is clear that Shaan is dedicating his soul there. The boy gains so much prominence that his name even appears in the newspapers, where Shaoshan's name is announced as the latest classical music prodigy. Seeing his son reach the final stage of the championship, Yuan is extremely proud, but soon remembers the promise he made to the boy. After fulfilling his part of the agreement, Shaan reveals that he doesn't want to play the piano anymore and won't be taking part in the championship finals, but his father manages to convince him to win that competition before abandoning his career as a pianist for good. When he arrives on stage, instead of playing the song he had rehearsed for that performance, Shaan decides to create something completely new and wins even more points with the judges. Thanks to this brilliant performance, Shaan wins the Yuan Cup and makes his father prouder than ever. That evening, Yusha also came to see her son's performance and, before leaving, congratulated him on his victory. The woman says she is very proud of her son and hugs him. Then Shaoshan's friends show up and Jing reveals that his family will be moving to Shenzhen in 2 days. When he receives this news, the young man is heartbroken, but tries to pretend that he hasn't been affected and leaves quietly. The next morning, Shaan receives a telescope as a gift from his grandfather and an astronomy book from his father. However, the truth is that Yuan is giving his son a gift with the intention of convincing him to accept the invitation to study at the best music academy in the country. Furious, Shaan says he won't go and accuses his father of lying to him. After entering his room, the young man asks for Mozart's help to escape, but first he decides to say goodbye to Shihao. After picking up his best friend, Shaan goes to Jiling's house and invites her to take a walk around the city for the last time before moving out. Just then, Mozart spots a boat floating on the lake and decides to use it to transport the teenagers. When they see the craft flying, the people in the park are impressed and the three friends get on board to start their adventure. Just then, Shaan and her henchmen appear and decide to follow the ship. Minutes later, the young men land on an abandoned tower and take advantage of the night to watch the stars. Looking at the watch on his wrist, the alien discovers that he only has 17 hours to complete his mission and decides to use his powers to create a hologram of the Milky Way. In this way, the teenagers have the opportunity to see the stars more closely and Shaan is thrilled to be able to see his galaxy more closely. When asked about his planet, the panda uses the holograms to show the youngsters a small representation of Alpha 18. After using so much power, Mozart feels exhausted and needs to rest. Before going to sleep, Shaan asks the alien to tell him a story, then the bear decides to reveal the real reason he came to Earth. In 60 years' time, humans will come into contact with an extraterrestrial civilization for the first time and meet the planet Alpha 18. Together, these two civilizations will create a new planet, which will be inhabited by both species in the future. The person responsible for uniting these two worlds is an astronomer who lives on Earth and, should he decide to follow another path in life, the two nations will never meet. To save the future of both planets, the alien has been sent to Earth to ensure that Shaan follows his true dream and doesn't allow his father to divert him from his career. When he finishes telling his story, Mozart realizes that the boy is asleep and decides to return his watch. Just then, the teddy bear hears a beautiful melody and decides to follow it. While looking for the source of the music, the alien ends up being captured and, in the morning, the three friends wake up to the cries of their parents with the help of the police. Their relatives manage to track them down and Shaan wonders where Mozart is. Immediately, the boy starts looking for him everywhere until he realizes that he has been abandoned by the panda. When he gets home, Shaan hears his watch beep and discovers that, in the next 7 hours, Mozart will be leaving the planet. After calling Shihao, the young man leaves to look for him, and Jing is about to get on the plane when she receives the news that the bear has disappeared. The young woman immediately says goodbye to her father and goes to meet Shaan to help him look for Mozart. Desperate, the boys decide to go to Yuan's house and inform him that they are friends of the alien who saved him. Suddenly, the boy connects with Mozart and can hear everything he's hearing. At this point, he discovers that a group of people are intentionally making noises that leave the alien stunned and, as a result, he is unable to use his powers. Describing the music he is hearing, Shaan helps Yuan identify the place where the bear was taken, and the boy decides to guide them to the Galactic Alliance University headquarters. On their way there, the group meets Jing, who has hitched a ride with Paul to find Shaan. After getting into the boy's car, the group set off for the safe house where Mozart is being held. When they arrive at the shed, the teenagers break in and prevent the panda from being burned alive on a bonfire. They then use the weapons created by the astronomy club to attack the faithful who follow Shaan, and, during the battle, the woman takes the opportunity to escape with the bear. When he realizes that his friend is being taken away, Shaan runs after the woman, but ends up being attacked by Jing, who knocks the boy down to stop him getting close to Shaan. Just then, Yuan appears and attacks the coward who attacked his son. While his father immobilizes the man, Shaan runs to rescue Mozart, who is about to be eliminated. His father then arrives on the scene and asks the boy to forgive him for forcing him into a career he didn't want. When the boy disappeared, Yuan had the chance to reflect on the mistake he had made and came to the conclusion that the best thing he could do to ensure his son's happiness was to allow him to choose his own destiny. After hearing these words, Shaan realizes that Mozart's clock has reached 100%, which means that the alien's mission is complete. When the rest of the rescue team shows up, Shaan throws the bear into the fire, but it uses its powers to float and sets fire to the woman's clothes. After getting rid of his enemy, Mozart falls to the ground and Shaan tries to help him. Now that he has completed his mission, the bear reveals that he must return home, but says that they will meet soon. Just then, a blue light descends from the sky and takes the alien back to his home planet. When Mozart leaves, everyone automatically forgets about his existence, even Shaan. But what the boy didn't forget was his father's promise that from then on he could follow his dream of becoming an astronomer, and that's what he did. Despite not being able to join the school's astronomy club, Shaan decides to start his own projects. His heart is still broken because Jing left, but they still keep in touch even at a distance. After numerous accusations, Shaan and her henchmen are finally arrested and taken to the sanatorium, as they are convinced that they will soon be visited by aliens. However, when a group of rebel aliens appear in her cell, Shaan is terrified and orders them to leave. At this point, the creatures reveal that they went there to ask for the woman's help in getting rid of Shaan, so Shaan sees the opportunity to get her revenge. So what did you think of this movie? Leave it in the comments below. And if you liked the video, like and subscribe for more movie recaps. See you next time.